Hey, hello, how are you? And welcome back to my channel. You might be wondering why there's this box on my lap right now, and that would be because today I want to go through and unhaul some of my book collection. There's not like a lot in this box, but as you can see behind me, we are a household of readers. We've got a lot of books, and we don't have room for literally any books that we don't absolutely love. So some of these books I actually really liked. Some of them I gave like 4 stars, but if I don't feel like I would read it again, if I don't feel like I would recommend it to a friend, let them borrow it, give it to them, I just don't need it anymore. And we have a local bookstore that we really like that takes in used books, and then you can get store credit in exchange. So I figured that could be another little sneaky cheat way for me to maybe be able to get a couple more books this year without having to spend money, because I'm essentially exchanging them for my books that I don't want. Anyway, let's go through this box of books and you can see all of the ones that I will be getting rid of. This first one absolutely pains me to get rid of because the cover is so pretty. It's like nice and matte, and I'm really sad that I didn't like this book more. I will be getting rid of All Adults Here by Emma Straub, which is just so sad to me. It's so sad that it doesn't just get to stay on the shelf and sit next to This Time Tomorrow, but unfortunately we do not have room in the Joyce household for books that we don't love, and I gave this one 3 stars, so I will be sending it off to a better home. Maybe somebody else can pick it up and really enjoy it, and that would make me so happy. So I'm gonna have to get rid of it. Then we've got Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. I actually really liked this book. I gave this book 4 stars. I thought it was really cute, but it didn't feel like one that I needed to reread in the future. I liked it, but it wasn't 5 stars, so I just didn't feel the need to keep it with me on my shelves. I will actually be giving this one to my sister because she really wanted to read it, so that's always fun. If you have a book that you don't want anymore, hey, try to pawn it off on one of your friends or family members. This next one I feel like is par for the course. It's pretty easy to guess. I will be getting rid of What You Gonna Do by Avery Flynn. This was one of the books that I hated the most. Nay, I did hate it the most. This is the book that I hated the most in 2023. I could not stand this book, didn't really feel like there were any redeeming qualities whatsoever, but hey, somebody might want to read it, I don't know, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Then I will be getting rid of Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. I did not enjoy this book. I'm actually not a fan of Riley Sager as an author. I decided after I read this one that this would actually be my last book by him that I would read, because I don't jive with his writing style. I haven't liked any of the books that I've read by him, but I know that he's a super popular author, and I know that a lot of other people really like this book. So somebody else can read it and really enjoy it. Good for them, you know? Then I'm gonna get rid of Wish You Were Here by Renee Carlino. This book was conflicting for me. I had conflicting feelings because on one hand, it made me absolutely sob. It was like so sad, so heart-wrenching, like, but in a good way, kind of, like you're like, ooh, that made me feel something. I really appreciated that. And then you get to the like second half, or maybe it's not even like a second half. It's kind of just like the last 2/3 of the book, and it's just not interesting. It was boring to me. I didn't like it. I wasn't expecting that. I thought that the storyline that this book starts with was gonna carry you through the whole book, and it doesn't. And then the rest kind of just felt like filler to me. It didn't really feel like the author had a plan, maybe. So I don't know. I've read 3 books by Renee Carlino. I've read Before We Were Strangers, Wish You Were Here, and Swear on This Life. I did not like Swear on This Life. I didn't love this one, but I loved Before We Were Strangers. So I'm not really sure about her as an author. I don't know if I like her in general or not. And I don't really know if I want to try a 4th book by her. But yeah, this one was not the best, not the worst, but it doesn't belong on my shelf. Then I will be getting rid of From the Jump by Lacey Walden. This book, I did not have an issue with it. There wasn't anything in this book that gave me the ick or anything. I didn't think that the writing was necessarily weak at all. I just really didn't connect to the characters. I wasn't super interested in the story, and I felt kind of bored the whole time, but it wasn't a bad romance. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I can't really tell you. I just didn't like it. Maybe it was just the mood that I was in when I read it. I'm not sure. But it definitely does not belong here on our shelf because I didn't like it enough. So I will be unhauling it. Okay, this next one is a little bit controversial. It took me a while to decide that I was going to get rid of this book, but I have come to the decision that I will be giving it away, and that book is It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. I know. Here's the thing. In 2022, I read It Ends With Us. It was the first Colleen Hoover book that I had ever read, and I thought it was amazing. It was such a roller coaster. I think I binge read it in 2 days. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. Now, since then, I feel that I have grown as a reader. And by that, I mean I have read so many books since I read that first Colleen Hoover book, including, I believe, 7 other Colleen Hoover books. Now, do I think that Colleen Hoover as an author can write a story that makes you just want more and want to see what happens next? Absolutely, definitely. But there are things in It Ends With Us that I don't think were handled as well as they should have been because they are such serious topics. And that gives me pause to recommend that book to anybody. I know at this point it's like everyone and their mother has read that book. And like I said, I absolutely loved it when I read it. So when It Starts With Us was announced, I was so stoked. I pre-ordered it. I read it immediately when it got to my house, and I loved it. I thought that it was amazing. But as time has gone on, I've realized that I no longer love these books. I no longer love this author, and I wouldn't reread this. I also don't own It Ends With Us. I borrowed that from my sister, so I felt weird about just having the second book. I don't normally do that. When I own one book in a series, I like to own all of them. And even though this is just a duology, I feel like it counts, and that was weird to me. But I also didn't want to buy It Ends With Us because, like I said, I wouldn't reread that one either. So I just felt like I didn't know what I was doing having this on my shelf anymore. If you go on my Goodreads, I think it's still rated 5 stars, but I would probably change that at this point. So I will be getting rid of this. And you know what's actually really funny is that last time I went to our local bookstore that I was talking about that we like to donate to, there was probably 9 copies of It Starts With Us, which I think is really funny because I think that means that there's a whole bunch of other people that are doing exactly what I did. They wanted to see what was going to happen next. They read the book. They didn't need to keep it, so they got rid of it. So I'm going to add another copy to their store. They get to have another copy of It Starts With Us. Then I will be getting rid of You Again by Kate Goldbeck. This one came out in 2023. It was one of those, I don't know what to call it. I don't want to say that this book is going to be like a one-hit wonder by any means. She might go on to write lots of other things that lots of people enjoy. But as far as I know, I believe this was her first release. And it kind of blew up. A lot of people bought it. A lot of people wanted to read it. I haven't actually heard that many reviews on it. I've seen it on a lot of people's TBRs, but my review of it was not the most positive. I did not enjoy this book. I thought that the format was messy and that frustrated me, and I think the messy format led to me not connecting to the couple or caring about them or feeling like I actually believed that they were in love. So by the end of the book, I was just like, all right, come on, let's get done with this. I don't want to be reading this anymore. Yeah, I just didn't like it. So I don't want it anymore. I'm gonna get rid of it. Then I will be getting rid of Call Me By Your Name. I actually feel like this is probably one of the prettiest movie book covers I've ever seen, but that does not mean that that is grounds for me to keep this book when I wouldn't read it again. I wouldn't read it again. I wouldn't really recommend it to people, and I don't need it anymore. And here's why. Because this book is about a relationship between two people, and one of those people is a minor and the other one is an adult, and that's not okay with me. I don't care that when and where it takes place it was legal. It's upsetting to me, and it just, that completely shades the way you read the whole book. So even though the writing is beautiful, I can't with this book. I wouldn't recommend it. I will say I still have not watched the movie. I need to do that. And I've heard that the movie is absolutely beautiful. But just because something is beautiful doesn't mean that, like, it's okay, you know? So we don't want to keep this book. We're gonna get rid of it. And last but certainly one of the least liked books of last year, I'm getting rid of Holly Jolly Ever After. Yeah, this book is probably, in my opinion, the second worst book that I read in 2023. The only reason why it's a step above What You Gonna Do is because this book was so laughably bad that I actually did get a bit of entertainment out of it, because I was literally laughing. Like, listening to the audiobook, I was actually laughing out loud because it's so ridiculously awful. Ridiculously awful. I know that some people like this series. It's just not for me. I couldn't take it seriously. I don't understand how anybody can take it seriously. The things, the plot points in this book and the things that the people say, I could not, man. I could not. I can't. Like, if you are down to spend that much time reading this book or listening to the audiobook just for the laughs, you go ahead. You know what? Come back to me afterwards. Let me know how your experience was. But for me, it's a no. It's a no. I can't keep this. It's burning a hole in the bookshelf. I can't do this anymore. I can't have this in my house. So it needs to go. Those are all of the books that I will be unhauling from our bookshelf. I love to declutter. I love to be as minimal as I can. That might sound ridiculous, again, looking at our bookshelf behind me. But books are super important to me. They're super important to my husband. And so we keep books that we love. Don't get me wrong. But books that we don't, why have them here when somebody else could enjoy them? So I hope that you enjoyed watching me talk about all the books that I'm gonna get rid of. I hope that you can do some spring cleaning here soon and get rid of some books that you don't need anymore. I assume that I'll probably do another one of these videos in the future after I read more books that I don't want. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, give it a like. If you like this channel, give it a subscribe. Comment down below, what is the worst book that you read in 2023? I want to know. I want to hear about it, please. All of my social media links are in the description if you want to go follow me on any of those accounts. And I will see you next week. Bye.